Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting, or just go to my email, oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show, be sure to check out our Patreon. We got 8 new hours of content going up every month. Just yesterday, I uploaded some new pictures of Jeffrey Epstein on a Disney World trip. To the free section there on Patreon, but always new content going on there. It's worth it just to be on there, just to see the stuff I put up for free, to check it out once in a while. Our archives you can find for free at Spreaker.com, That's where you can go and check it out. We have a chat room, and also too, you get an email notification anytime we put up new free content. And I recommend you go to our Spreaker and check out our guest today, Ian Halperin, who wrote the book Controversy, Sex, Lies, and Dirty Money by the World's Powerful Elite. We did an hour that went by in about 10 minutes. The guy knows everybody, and all the dirt this guy talks about is all the stuff that we talk about here at the Opperman Report. So, Ian Halperin, are you there?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Ed. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, and it's always so much fun, too, because you know everything. You know all the good dirt. But remind the audience, who is Ian Halperin?
I'm an award-winning investigative reporter. I've written about 20-odd books, and I've also directed about 9 or 10 documentaries. I'm always looking for the next scoop. I've covered everybody from Michael Jackson to the Kardashians to the Church of Scientology to Kurt Cobain, and I've done a lot of true crime stuff, so that's right up your alley, which you're an expert on. And I have to ask you one thing, and if you don't mind, just to start this, where is this country headed, honestly? And I know you might have a good opinion because, look, there's two far extremes here, and the bottom line is, are we living in a communist country here, a capitalist country? Ed Opperman, where are we now? It seems to change every day, this country's agenda.
Well, it's clearly a capitalist country. Both the Democrats and Republicans are capitalists. There's no doubt about that. But we are heading off into a bizarre world. I guess it started with the JFK assassination, where people knew that they couldn't trust their government, they couldn't trust the news, and it set out a certain mindset that now they don't trust anything, and they're more likely to believe the most wackiest, craziest theory than what they hear from this microphone, even or from the TV set of the newspapers, where we have people actually storming the Capitol, which seems to be with direction by the president in many ways. So what do you think, Ian?
Well,
are we in trouble?
First of all, was that a veritable coup? I mean, in a coup, and I was in South America when this happened, and people were like, wow, we've never seen it. We thought this happens only in Venezuela or, all these third world countries. This is happening in the U.S. now. Now, in your opinion, was it a veritable coup? There was no... Usually in a coup, you have some leader who's waiting to take command. I mean, who was going to take command? The guy sitting in Pelosi's chair? Seriously. So what's your take on that?
I think that there was definitely planning and financing and direction by guys like Rudy Giuliani, Bernie Kerik, these cast of characters. I even think that the old Blackwater team was involved. If you look at, by the way, at the people who resigned shortly afterwards, it seems like a lot of them had a lot more to do with this than you'd realize. This guy, Liebenfeld, I think his name is, this sergeant this Capitol Hill cop who killed himself. His father was a sergeant at arms of the Senate who retired to establish a huge lobbying firm that was so big that they merged with Stone and Manafort's company. So there's a lot of connections that run back to Stone, that run back to Manafort, and these cast of characters like Giuliani and Kerik and these guys.
Yeah, there is no doubt about it. There is a lot of corruption running around, rampant, and nobody knows anymore the truth. I mean, it's extremely explosive. But I have to ask you one question. Out of all these characters, and you know this, you're a top private investigator, you know this better than anybody. Who would be the sleaziest out of all of them? Would it be Giuliani, Stone, in your opinion, out of all of these characters?
Kerik was never a cop. Somehow he became the head of the Department of Corrections. He became the head of the NYPD. Never worked as a cop a day, never sworn in as a police officer a day in his life, and went to prison, for all kinds of shenanigans, stole money and services that were meant for 9/11 victims, cheated on his wife. The best man at his wedding was his character, Lawrence Ray, who was pimping out those girls at Sarah Lawrence over there, living in their dorm room and stuff like that. It was the best man at his wedding, paid for his wedding. I gotta tell you, I don't know many more guys easy as that, man. Still, the rumors and allegations about this guy that I couldn't even repeat. And a dangerous guy, too. And he was right there in the thick of all this. He's there in the middle of all these pitches, man.
And he was involved with one of my best friends in the publishing industry,
Judith Regan. That's right. Who lost her cell phone, and he sent 10 cops over there to shut the restaurant down.
Yeah, I've been friends with her a long time. We actually share the same birthday. So Judith is an icon in publishing, and also worked with another person who we have in common, Mr. Howard Stern, because he published Private Parts and Miss America, so his two big books. Your opinion on Stern? Okay, if you don't mind, I'll interview you a bit now. Cause, your opinion on Howard Stern, has been, or is he still the top?
Well, Ian, I grew up in New York City. I listened to Howard Stern when he was on WNBC, and I became addicted to him. K-Rock, those early years, I loved him. We listened to him all day long. Had dreams that I was part of the Whack Pack and part of the Stern. Did the Jackie impersonation, the Jackie puppet I used to do all day long about one of my employees who worked for me. Incredible talent, But I always had my suspicions that the guy had some problems. Serious. And it seems like so many people associated with that show suffer from mental illness and had all kinds of extreme breakdowns. We just took a trip up to D.C., road trip, and I subscribed to Sirius because, we had a satellite radio in the car, so I bought a month's service.
Sure.
I didn't renew it, because you're right. It's a different show. It still has its value, but it's a different show. A lot of repeats.
All right, I'm going to give you some exclusive info.
Yes.
And this is 100% factual. Stern's raking in about, the budget for the show is $100 million. All right? Stern's getting about $80 million of that. And the other 20 is dispersed for the staff and whatever, the whole show. How much do you think Gary's pulling in?
Yeah, I know. It's like under a couple of $100,000, right?
Gary's pulling in about $1 million, or just under, about $750. Everybody thought he was making much more. How much do you think Robin's pulling in?
Now that's a good question because she spends so much money. She has to be making the $5 million, right?
Maximum 2.5.
Wow.
All right, maximum. I know this for a fact. Maximum 2.5. Artie Lang, how much was he pulling in when he was with the show?
I just had Radio Gunk on the show, and I'm hearing that Artie right now is dead broke, but I think he was making a lot of money doing appearances. You got to remember, these guys do appearances too.
Yeah, he was making $200K a night in Atlantic City.
Yeah. With Stern, probably $250, right?
He was making $700,000. $750.
Wow.
But now Marcy Turks, she took over the show. And she's really has everybody on a leash there. And Howard, in your opinion, is he a sellout? I mean, he used to expose the celebrities. Now he's their best friends. Which version do you like better?
Yeah, I know, but the guy's in such a crazy bubble, and he hasn't left his house since COVID started, right? And he hasn't walked out the door, from what I understand, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of look at that as like a mental illness, this whole... his lifestyle, it's sad,
Do you think the best of Stern is long gone?
Yes, I think it can never be recreated, especially when you listen to those old shows with Jackie. And the tragedy, the tragedy of Artie Lang, dying before our eyes, And I've dealt with people with serious drug addictions in my life, you just know you don't notice. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Quick question. Robin Quivers and her involvement with these witches cults and stuff like that. What do you know about that?
I really don't know much about it. I know she's an enigma. Nobody knows much about her really, who she really is. But there's been a lot of rumors about her being involved with all kinds of things. But nobody's really, cut through the gloss and hype about Robin and have found out who she really is.
Now, what happened with you? How did you get involved? I guess you got involved with Howard through Judith Regan.
No, I went on Howard's show. I used to promote my books on his show. And then when I switched to Opie and Anthony, I was a regular there for almost 10 years. Howard wouldn't have me on again. In a nice, polite way. I like Gary a lot. I think he's a nice guy, and I think he's really been undervalued at the Stern show. But once I switched to Opie and Anthony, which literally was down the hall, that was it. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And I can say, too, Gary, I did some work for Gary, and very, very nice guy, too, as well. He's a gentleman for sure.
Yeah, Gary's a straight arrow. Really nice guy, and really helped make that show, and should be making much more than he is. I mean, if Stern's making $80 a year, Gary's been with him forever. I mean, Gary should be pulling in at least 2-3 a year, and he's not. And
he's had to have gotten offers, too, from other, you know what I mean? The guy's a super producer, man. It was a killer. The research and stuff.
What it looks like now, it looks like Sirius is going to buy iHeart, and they're just going to be the dominant force in satellite radio. They want to, buy it all up. And you look at the people who've worked there, like Scott Greenstein. He's made a lot of money, at least $100 million. Mel, who used to run the whole thing, very rich man. So there's a lot of money to be made there. But the bottom line is Sirius the product that the public wants today? I'm not convinced. If Howard leaves, he renewed again, but you're talking millions of subscribers just for the Howard Stern show. And will Sirius sustain post Howard, in your opinion?
That is a good question, because it's been so long since I've been on Sirius, and just trying to navigate around the web. When you're in the car trying to get from station to station, it's very difficult. And the only thing on it really is Howard 101 and Howard 100, and just even getting back and forth between the 100 and the 101 is kind of a burden. Maybe it was the rental car we had. I don't know, but he's the big draw. I wouldn't pay for that without Howard. I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there?
But unless you're like a truck driver and you need the reception, because when you're driving around, there aren't a lot of good local AM stations anymore out there, and they're all right-wing nuts, with Hannity and craziness. Glenn Beck, talking about this crazy stuff all the time. Yeah. But now since you've gone, I guess, and talking about Howard and revealing stuff, have you heard any kind of threats or complaints from his end?
I've heard some grumbling because I still know people who work there, and they say tone it down a bit. But look, bottom line is I'm pretty fair to him. I do expose a lot of his demons, but at the end of the day, I give him credit. He sustained. I don't think he was too kind along the way. I mean, you read about all these employees who, they had relatives where, like, their mothers were dying of cancer. He wouldn't give them time off. Yeah. He didn't treat them well. I mean, you just wonder, it's a bit toxic environment. But at the end of the day, the truth prevails, and Howard knows that I'm speaking the truth, and there's nothing he can do about it. First Amendment.
Well, now, are you on Team Wig or no wig?
Look, the guy's 68 years old, 67. Yeah. I think. I'd have to say he's done something with the hair. It's almost impossible for it to sustain like that. So, if it's not a full-blown wig, it's certainly some hair extension, definitely coloring. You see his beard. It's completely gray when he shows a beard, so why wouldn't his hair be? It makes no sense at all. The thing with Howard Stern, he thinks he's bigger than life, and maybe he is. But as we all know, look, Larry King just passed. Everything passes. We're just all passing through here. and time's ticking, and the key is to just maximize your experience while you're here. Were you a Larry King fan?
Not really. And I just had John Barber on the show, who had intimate dealings with Larry King, accused him of stealing a lot of money that was meant to go to Jim Garrison. I'm not a big Larry King fan at all, especially at this point.
Yeah. What was the stealing about? I never heard that.
He was on a station. He was raising money for Jim Garrison's investigation into the JFK assassination, and he kept the money. He never gave a penny to Garrison. That's what John Barber says.
That was Larry King.
Yeah.
Well, that's sleazy if that's true.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't a huge Larry King fan at all, and the certainly the template of cable television's changed a lot since Larry disappeared about a decade ago. I think CNN is, in my opinion, I mean, I don't find these guys heavyweights. Their lineup of their hosts at night. I don't find them to be heavyweights. I think they're very mid-range, and if that's the best we have to offer in the U.S., it's very concerning, because we need much more provocative, much more insightful, and much more quality TV. And I don't think we're getting it. It's very formulated. And look, their ratings are up, mainly because of what happened with Trump, the past few months. But I think the quality just isn't there, what it used to be.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, and it's the same repetition over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah.
I was out of the country for several months. I came back, and I put on the TV, and it was like I never left. They're talking about the same things and the same style, And that's the problem. That's why it lingers and lingers, because you don't have hosts who are challenging, who are provocative, and who could really shed some insight. These guys are like robots, and I don't think they're doing quality work. I think it's sterile, in my opinion.
Now, earlier you were talking about how life is short, we all pass on. And you were telling me off the air that you have some new theories about the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, I'll say on your show, 100% he was taken out. And I have incontrovertible evidence on this, which I updated in my book. This was a professional job. And who did it? A lot of people are pointing the finger at the royal family. The British royal family. And Mohammed Al-Fayed, he said they took out Princess Diana. He openly accused them of murder. And now there's rumblings that they were back for Epstein, because if Epstein would have revealed the truth about Prince Andrew, it could have taken down the British monarchy. So the bottom line is, somebody took him out. It was definitely a professional job, and the question is who. And because the videos were, they weren't working, somehow they disappeared or got erased, but they're not there from the security cameras. Why aren't they doing a proper investigation? Everybody wants to know. Is it a cover-up? What do you think?
Well, first of all, we want to remind the audience about the book. It's called Controversy, Sex, Lies, and Dirty Money by the World's Powerful Elite, and it covers 1,000 different topics. And it's also, now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but now this is constantly being updated. I can buy this book for $9 and come back a month later, and there's more there?
Well, now the finished product's there. Now it's done.
Okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the book's done. So at least Volume 1, which dealt mainly with Epstein, quite a bit on Howard Stern, because Epstein was obsessed with Stern. Some on Nicolas Sarkozy, because Epstein was obsessed with his wife, Carla Bruni. A lot of celebrities in Volume 1. Volume 2 will be out soon. I'll probably release it in the next couple of months.
My theory on the death of Epstein is...
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that he was walked out of there, okay, rather than he was murdered. Maxwell is second generation intelligence operative, and her father, Robert Maxwell, was intelligence. And so when you have people, looking around and said, hey, I talked my kid to go into this business, and now he gets in trouble for working for you, and you're going to let him rot in jail? You're going to let people kill him? I'm going to tell the rest of my kids not to go into the family business. Like Bill Barr, he's grooming his kids. You see, now he got them all over the place. So I think in order for them, they would have to give a nod to the people that work in intelligence and say, no, we got your back. We never leave a man behind. We're bringing him out.
Wow. So you think he's still alive?
Yeah, well, it's just a theory, and based on that, that's my theory. Obviously, the circumstances are suspicious AF as you can get, you know what I mean? Guards falling asleep, and he has all this contraband there in his cell that they just take pictures of like it's nothing,
Yeah.
And then this other one, Maxwell, she got a TV set, man. She's an MDC, not MCC. No, she's an MDC. And she got a TV set, a cell phone, 2 computers. She gets a daily massage. Masseuse comes in. Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
Gee.
Do you think Maxwell ever sets foot out of prison?
Well, you have Mr. Trump says he wishes her well, and somehow her spokesperson is a woman, Goldman, who may or may not be a spokesperson, but at one time was intimately friendly with her, had a job in the daily press room over there at the White House, daily press passes, as a freelance writer, okay? So she seems to be rather well connected.
Yeah, but Trump didn't pardon her.
Trump didn't pardon her, is right, yeah.
That would have been the game changer. He could have pardoned her and she would have walked out. But he never did that. It obviously would have been way too controversial.
They did fire the prosecutor, though. Berman.
No. You're right about the father. The father, Robert Maxwell, who I firmly believe was also taken out, thrown off a boat, off his yacht. But he was connected to the Israel Mossad. He was entrenched in there, and so is Epstein.
Right.
Epstein had ties to the Mossad, but I say in the book he betrayed them because he did major deals with Gaddafi, and then he was dealing with the Saudis. So I expose him in the book as a triple agent, and that's why I believe that he was taken out. I've seen photos of the body, the dead body, and I do believe he was immediately taken out so he can never speak about what really happened. I mean, there's theories about the Clintons, because Bill Clinton definitely was involved with Epstein and definitely with Epstein's girls. There's no doubt about that. There's Leslie Wexner. Why did Wexner, the head of Limited Brands, give Epstein a mansion in Ohio, a mansion in New York? People in my book allege it was because of a gay affair they were having for years, because Wexner was obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. So if you look at this vicious circle, he died the day the documents were supposed to be released, a lot of the confidential statements he made. Somebody had a lot to lose if Epstein was able to speak. And in my opinion, it still leans more toward the British royal family. A lot of people think the Clintons were responsible for this, but I still think the only institution that would have the power to do something like this would be the British royal family.
What do you make of Leon Black giving all that money to Epstein?
Oh, everybody knew about that. That's like dog bites man type story. Nothing shocking there. There's other people who gave Epstein a lot of money. So, that's life. They became associated with a man who was an undesirable, and they didn't know that at the time. He was a sociopath.
Yeah, the thing with Wexner, too, he was up to his neck in that whole OSU locker room scandal over there with the showers and the sauna. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, this doctor that everybody's trying to isolate it to this doctor, his office was in the Wexner building, okay? So, yeah, that's how much these characters are involved in it. We got to say, go ahead.
Yeah, too many coincidences, and they add up. These aren't just some strange coincidences.
How does it fit into with the will and the trust being set up 2 days before the death?
Well, look, the fact is, Epstein, first of all, he was going to try to get out of jail. He wanted to fight. He had no reason to commit suicide. He was very upbeat. He thought he'd get off on the double jeopardy because he was already tried, and he didn't think they could do it again, although there could have been new cases involved, so that might have put him eligible to be tried again. But whatever, his lawyer, his friend said the last thing on Epstein's mind was suicide. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is people were shaking in their boots once he got arrested off the plane from Paris and was taken in again. That was it. People were shaking in their boots because they feared the truth might come out about their involvement with underage girls and with Jeffrey Epstein.
It's a good time to take a little commercial break. We are speaking today with Ian Halperin, and we're talking mostly about his book, Controversy, Sex, Lies, and Dirty Money by the World's Powerful Elite. You can find Ian on Twitter, too, as well. Ian, what's your name on Twitter over there? Ian Halperin, right?
Ian Undercover.
Ian Undercover, that's right. I knew it was so cool. We'll be right back with more Ian Halpert after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And once again, we're talking to Ian Halperin. You can find his book here on Amazon called Controversy, Sex, Lies, and Dirty Money by the World's Powerful Elite. But he's done a dozen books, man, at least, about Michael Jackson, about Kurt Cobain, about the Kardashians, all the kind of stuff that we love to talk about here. And what about your Kurt Cobain book? What was your conclusion on that?
Well, definitely that he was murdered. The scientific evidence really proved that he had 70 times a lethal dose of heroin in his system. There's no way he'd be able to lift a shotgun and kill himself. I released all the heartbreaking details of Kurt's final days. I did a movie, a couple of books, and one of the guys who was hired by Courtney Love to stalk me died this week recently. His name's Jack Palladino, the famous gumshoe PI in San Francisco. And the first time I met Jack was when we were doing the book Who Killed Kurt Cobain. That was in like 1996, and he showed up in my backyard. He trespassed and told me who he was and said, "Let's go out for dinner anywhere you want to go." So I recommended a cheap restaurant. He said, no, let's go somewhere expensive. I'm being paid, a lot of money to be here. So I told him I have nothing to hide. I went out with him. He pursued to try to stop my book from coming out, and he was unsuccessful. And then when I did the sequel about 7-8 years later, called Love and Death, The Murder of Kurt Cobain, he showed up the day before it was coming out in the office of Simon & Schuster. He showed up in the reception, and they wouldn't let him in. And then they booted him out. He tried to stop the book again. So obviously Courtney Love retained him for many, many years.
Did he try and offer you money?
Indirectly, yes. Yeah. He said, there's ways we could stop this, and if you want to play ball with us, we can make it worth your while. But
now,
so long ago. But now, incredibly, he was trying out a new camera recently in San Francisco in the Haight-Ashbury area, and he got attacked by two guys. And he fell on his head. He ended up on life support, and he was pronounced dead a couple of days later. But incredibly, he was able to take photos of his attackers with the new camera, and it was found as evidence, and 2 people were arrested.
Yeah, isn't it incredible? He took pictures of the people who killed him, and that's how they got arrested. Yeah. Fascinating story. You can't make that stuff up. Now, What do you make, though, of Courtney Love? Because she has an Epstein connection, too, as well. She was in his little black book, and a friend of mine asked her, hey, what's the story about you being in his little black book? And she said, oh, I never met him, and neither did neither did Mick Jagger. There were a lot of names in there that people didn't know. What do you make? What do you think?
Well, Epstein had everybody in his black book. That's no secret. Courtney Love, she was definitely a loose cannon back in the day. She never revealed her true involvement regarding her husband's death in 1994. But, you know, as time wore on, I guess she mellowed quite a bit. We don't hear much about her anymore, and I guess she's just leading her life. So far, she's never remarried, which is incredible.
Well, who in their right mind would marry her, man?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she dated a lot of guys. She dated Bill Corrigan from Smashing Pumpkins. She dated Ed Norton, the famous actor. So the bottom line with Courtney is, will we ever know or get her to reveal her true involvement? Because even the suicide note Kurt wrote, the last 5 lines were in the handwriting, according to a top handwriting expert in the world, of somebody else, not in Kurt's writing.
Yeah.
And that was the only place about he mentioned suicide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I've had Courtney's dad, Hank Harrison, on the show a bunch of times. I've been to his house,
Sure.
and we've become kind of friends up there. I like him. You know, you listen to everything he says. One time he tells me he's on the phone with D.B. Cooper, okay? I love Hank, okay? You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not going to... He tells me this story. But he told me, by the way, too, that when she was a teenager, she was living with a madam and was involved in procuring girls for people and stuff like that. I believe that. Okay.
Well, the interesting thing about Hank, which most people don't know, is he was the first manager of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
He wrote, I think, 2 or 3 books about the Grateful Dead. And, you know, Courtney was raised around a very big drug scene with Hank. You know, everybody was popping LSD back in the day, and it was the sort of, you know, free spirit hippie movement. But yeah, Hank Harrison openly accuses his own daughter, basically, of murder, and it's pretty powerful when you have the father accusing the daughter.
Yeah, I tell you, I wish there was more Hank off the air than Hank on the air, because he's a different guy off the air. And he actually gave me a bunch of recordings. I have all of these recordings of Courtney when she was in juvenile hall, talking to him over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
So he told me this fascinating story about Courtney Love when he was in Ireland. And he had a friend over there named Leary. And you know the story?
Yep.
The friend was about 35 years old. Courtney was 15 years old. She came to Ireland with like 1,000 or 2,000 hits of LSD, and she started dating this guy, Leary, who was about, you know, much her senior, right? And it turns out, you know who that guy is?
Say it.
The brother of the Shark Tank Leary guy.
Oh, the brother of Kevin O'Leary?
Yes!
Oh, that's interesting.
It's fascinating, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Small world. No, Courtney, look, you know, she certainly didn't have the talents of Kurt musically.
Yeah.
She's from a very oddball family. But the bottom line is, there's a lot of questions out there. Her own private investigator accuses her of murder. The investigator who she hired to find Kurt after he was missing from an LA drug rehab center. So the bottom line is, who killed Kurt Cobain? And a lot of people have pointed the finger at none other than Courtney Love.
Yeah, who also was over at Versace's house like a day before he got killed, you know? Just, what a life. What a life, you know? Some people have. Yeah. Now, you mentioned also, too, Scientology. What kind of work have you done against the Church of Scientology?
I went undercover in the Church of Scientology. I exposed them, you know, mainly on their homophobic stance. That I learned that they deprogrammed Tom Cruise, John Travolta, who were gay at the time. And, you know, Scientology is a huge cult status. And it's roped in a lot of top celebrities. And basically, they just want to make money off everybody. And, you know, the bottom line, I like Travolta. He's been through a lot with Scientology. But Tom Cruise is essentially the de facto leader of the Church of Scientology. And he's the number one Scientologist in the world. And that's why Nicole Kidman left him. She didn't want her kids being raised around Scientologists. And that's why other people, have defected from the church too in recent years.
And they have Nicole Kidman has like an adopted son who's like a spitting image of Lenny Kravitz. She dated Lenny Kravitz, right? How does that work?
Yes,
What's going on there?
Yeah, she did date Lenny Kravitz for a while. Nobody knows. Look, the fact is, a lot of people don't think that Siri Cruise, Katie Holmes' daughter, is the biological daughter of Tom Cruise too. There's been a lot of rumors about that.
Yeah, very odd too. Right, Katie Holmes' daughter. Right, there was pictures of that little girl like wearing high heels, like at 4 years old, 5 years old, in these little outfits. Very bizarre,
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. I wanted to ask you one question, because you're in the media business your whole life, basically. If there's one show you'd risk everything to advertise on, which show would it be? Or one outlet?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it would be something like Howard Stern or TrueAnon, and right now is a hot thing. And these guys, this El Chapo show, I've never listened to, but I hear they're hot and bothered. Or like TV-wise, TV to promote my stuff that I'm doing.
No, I mean, because in the news, this guy just risked his whole fortune to advertise on the show you said, Howard Stern.
And which guy is that?
He's in the I think it's called it was called Bull and Branch, a luxury bedding company. And it's owned by Missy and Scott Tannen, and apparently he just risked everything he had to advertise on Stern. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, do you think he'd see an ROI on that?
Yeah, because I think when it comes to really promoting a sponsor, Stern really takes that seriously. There was a period of time I was working at a car dealership in Woodbridge, Dodge, New Jersey, and they sponsored the local Howard Stern station. And he went down there to the dealership. He says, I want to see what's going on here. I want to see the place so I could talk about it. He was already a big star by then. So that was like 1990.
He actually went to the dealership.
Yes. And they said he was very professional, very serious, very intense, and he wanted to understand the business. Remember what he did with Snapple?
Yeah, what was that about? The
Snapple?
That was famous.
Well, the thing is, he mentioned Snapple every 5 minutes, and Snapple was just a tiny little company, and they went public, ultimately. Turned into a huge, no one knew what Snapple was. When he was doing Snapple, the Channel 9 show back in New York City in those days.
So he blew Snapple up.
Oh yeah. I think the guys too I think it was Car Cash. They said too that when they stopped advertising on Stern is when they couldn't afford it anymore, and that's when they went out of business. That's when they lost all their business. The one in Manhattan,
Yeah.
But back to our guest, Ian Halperin, okay, who loves to turn the tables on me and interview me. When they got a show, man, I'll come on and tell all Hunter Biden laptop story. Okay, that's a great story.
Yeah, the Hunter Biden stuff. I mean, honestly, people can't even demented Hollywood scriptwriters can't even make this stuff up.
Yeah.
I think the Hunter Biden is far from played out, and I think we're going to learn a lot more in the coming months about the true role of Hunter Biden.
Yeah, especially when Biden Sr. had the chutzpah to appoint John Kerry, who has an incredible new hair dye job. And hats off to Just for Men. Hair dye for John Kerry there. At least he wasn't going as far as Rudy Giuliani. But John Kerry's son was partners with Hunter Biden in a business, and it's documented. They went around the world. I think they visited 300 countries, man, with their hands out, saying, hire us for this, hire us for that. And then even he parted ways. Hunter Biden was too much for him. Okay, he parted ways with Biden.
Yeah, you got to wonder then, if Hunter Biden's too much for Kerry's son, you got to wonder, what really was the role of Hunter Biden, and how many people did he rope in? I mean, and how much money? And the other question, was it legit?
Well, you see the emails, hire me, and the big guy gets the $50,000 a month too. Who's the big guy? So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's a good point. So we're living in crazy times right now, folks, and the bottom line is transparency has just disappeared. The word transparency, I think, is out of the dictionary, and we don't know what to believe. We had a change of government recently, a new administration, but are they going to lead us to the promised land? And that's the question, because we've been through so much, I think, in the last 30 years politically, and is anybody capable right now of leading us to the promised land? Or is America, is it like a 30, 40-year-old car where its best days are behind it and the American dream is over? I mean, does the American dream still exist?
Well, clearly not. Both you and I are the same age. And I grew up in a single-income household, where my dad worked, my mom stayed home. We'd go to the butcher shop. He was supporting the family at the butcher shop. We'd go to the florist. They were supporting the whole family over there. They had accountants. They had, assistants and janitors clean up their place. Now everything's in Walmart. One place, all stuck in one place. The guy behind the butcher counter in there, right, or Amazon, even worse, right? And the guy behind the counter in there can't support a whole family on that living. His wife has to go out and work, and sometimes his kids have to work too. And Walmart's telling him where to get to the food pantry and how to apply for food stamps. But Ian Halperin, we got 3 minutes left though, and I want to ask you this: what do you know about Meghan Markle and why they left public life?
The rumor is, and this is highly exclusive, there's much more to the controversy about Meghan and Harry leaving. And the bottom line is, there was rumors of infidelity by one member of the couple. And this has never been reported. And that's why they got the hell out of there, to patch up the marriage and to save the family.
Now, that's interesting, because, there are those photos of Harry when he used to visit Las Vegas. He's naked. They got naked girls all over the place. And, I tried to scoop up those girls and, make some money on that story. And everybody was terrified to talk about it, okay? So
nobody will talk about it.
Yeah, because there's way too much money and power involved in that. Ian Halperin, we got 2 minutes left. What do you want to leave us with?
I'll say this. Hollywood, I've covered, again, celebrities from Kardashian to Cobain to Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Scientology, just so many. I'll say this. I think the day of celebrity is coming to an end, and maybe it's a good thing. I think right now we're shifting our focus in the world. We used to be obsessed with Hollywood celebrities, and I really think they're second fiddle now. I don't think people are enamored so much anymore with Hollywood, and they've shifted focus, other priorities. I mean, we are going through this pandemic. So one entity that suffered the most is the celebrity. I mean, we don't hear much about them anymore. We're not creating many new ones anymore. I think people's priorities are elsewhere.
So true, and anybody now can sign up to a podcast platform and entertain a couple of hundred people or 1,000 people, and it's all kind of watered down.
Yeah, it is watered down, and maybe it's a good thing. Maybe we need a change, But I remember when I covered Brangelina, I did a film and a book about them. They were bigger than life.
Yeah.
Just a decade ago. And now, and the tabloids would put them on the cover every week because they sell 10 times the amount of copies. All these tabloids right now are dying. The Inquirer, Us Weekly, In Touch. their best days are behind them. I mean, they're struggling, man. And the bottom line is why? Because nobody cares anymore.
You know, that I was going to mention this before when you mentioned, we were talking about Tom Cruise and Scientology, because I guess it was about 3 years ago, we had the San Gennaro Feast in Las Vegas, and Scientology had a booth there trying to get people to sign up, and they're handing out their Dianetic stuff. And at least one night, Tom Cruise was there working the booth. And it wasn't even like a big mob around the booth to see Tom Cruise. Oh, Tom Cruise is here. It was nothing. Hey, Tom Cruise is over there. You know, that was it.
Cared.
Nobody cared, man.
Yeah, it's a different world. And I was just in South America and I met a lot of expats. And a lot of people are moving out. I mean, New York, LA, people have just left in droves. And is America going to come back? That's the big question, because right now it's just beaten down. And the American dream, like, good luck. You know, you're not going to come here, get off a boat from some country and make millions of dollars. You know, it's 0.1% will do that. Whereas back in the day, anything was possible. So that's what I leave you with. Is its best days behind it, or will it come back? You know,
there was even a time not too long ago you can get off a boat with a load of cocaine and make $1 million, but now you can't even do that. It's so controlled.
No.
Ian Halperin, even that market's taken over. Ian Halperin, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. I really love your content. Controversy, Sex, Lies, and Dirty Money by the World's Powerful Elite. But check out Ian Halperin on Amazon, because he's got 20 books, all the kind of stuff our listeners listen to. Ian, as soon as you have something new come up, give me a call. We'll put you right on the air. It's great stuff, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Good
night. And now a word from our sponsors. OppermanReport.com. Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Do you like the work that you see us doing here at Opperman Report? You can support that work by becoming a member at OppermanReport.com. And as you have access to over 200 exclusive shows and interviews that you can't find on YouTube or Spreaker or iHeart or iTunes or KYAH. You can't find them anywhere else online, exclusive to our member sections, to our members. Also, too, there's images, videos, documents, court docs. And don't forget, you can hear your ad played here on the Opperman Report, reach hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis, because the show is repeated every day all over the world. Contact me at oppermanreport@gmail.com, and I'll give you a good deal on advertising rates.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.